This is task 1D, where you are asked to create a help sheet. You are told that staff may need to change the price bands in the future, including the years. So that means they might need to change the letters A, B, C, D, or as each year progresses, they'll need to change the start year to the next year. And you've got to produce a help sheet. Now, first of all, a help sheet does not need to be full user documentation. So it doesn't require a contents page, doesn't require an introduction, doesn't require troubleshooting or a glossary. Although it's called a help sheet, it can consist of more than one page. So it can have help sheets, as it were, but it's still called a help sheet. It's very important that everything is consistent. So you'll see that throughout my help sheet, I've got consistent fonts, consistent use of arrows, and as I'm looking at this I can see, look, I've made a mistake there because that arrow isn't the same style as this arrow, so that's something that I'll need to correct, and it's worth checking as you go along. You'll see that the font is the same throughout, and that the font size of all the titles is the same throughout, 18 points. I've used numbering here, so I've continued to use numbering elsewhere. We've used screenshots and cropped them appropriately, used arrows to point to sections of the help sheet. All this makes it useful. You'll also notice that it's written in the second person tense. That means giving instructions to somebody else, not saying I did this and I did that. Now if we just go back to this consistency, one of the things is that if you look at this font here, this is following the normal style, as you can see. And so if I decide that I want the normal style instead of Arial to be Calibri, I can do that and right hand click and update the normal to match that selection, and now everything will be Calibri. If I want to change my fonts here to be red, my subtitles, then I go to the style that the subtitle was set to. You'd probably be choosing like heading 1 and heading 2. And I say, I'll change the colour first to red. And then we'll go update, and it will update all of those. We can see it's obviously messed up these. I need to just put those back in the centre. That's fine, it's just the title, that one. So you've now got to think about what instructions are going to be necessary to complete this. Well, first of all, it's essential that we open the spreadsheet and that we open the software. Now that can all be done in one go, so you don't have to open Excel like it's showing here, but we do at least need to open the spreadsheet. Now you can't just say open the proposal worksheet and expect the user to know where it's stored. You need to say exactly what folder it is in and exactly what the file name is in. Now I've just chosen documents and then proposal spreadsheet as the folder. I haven't gone into AS, my coursework, Mr. Smith, and then put in the file name. I'm thinking about it from the user's point of view. But whatever you do, it must be the full folder and the full file name. And once we've opened this software, we've got to think about what's going to happen next. Well, we need to change worksheets. So the best thing for you to do is work your way through this and see the sorts of things that you need to do. So we need to have an instruction to tell the user how to change the worksheet. Then we need to have an instruction telling the user how to change the band itself. But if I want to change this from 2015 to next year to be 2016, this is protected, so I can't do it. So we then need some instructions under changing the years about the fact that we need to unprotect the sheet. When I unprotect it, we've got to tell them about the password that they need to put in. Now we can change things. So we can see here, if I change that to 2016 and the next one to 2017, I can now change those years all the way down to 2031. Now, of course, we've got to remember the other tasks, the associated things that need to go with this. So we need to remind the user to protect the sheet, typing in the password again and making sure that it's the same as the previous one used. And finally, of course, we need to give an instruction on how to save the sheet. So all this is about the help sheet. It's about the style that you use and about the way that you use your instructions. It's about making sure that it's clear, making sure you've used appropriate screenshots, so it's broken down into subsections, but also that you've included all the tasks that are necessary to carry out the main task, which is changing the price bands. But you've got to think about what are the associated tasks that need to be done with that.